Hello and welcome to episode 20 of my Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker playthrough. And assuming I've done my maths correctly and you celebrate, Merry Christmas! We are still on the moon. The final days very well may be upon us. I guess we're going to get confirmation of that today, if not today, tomorrow. So let's talk to the Watcher. The Watcher would discuss grave matters with you. Upgraded weapons. Before we speak at length, I believe a change of surrounding is in order. I have more ill tidings to share, you see. I sense others arrived not long ago. Though my communication with Heidelin grows infrequent, I have learned from her to know that these are your comrades. As luck would have it, they have already reached my abode. Come, let us join them. Let us join them. And of course the Fate spawns right next to us. I'll be right back. I still need to do these missions here. And I don't know how long I'm going to be with slow movement. So we'll get this done and we'll come back later. Rather, we'll get this done now and we'll go do the quest later and I will join you later. Here they are. Oh, not everyone came. Pillar of Industry, Merchant and Mender. It's literally just a rock that's been allocated to be a shop because they couldn't have anybody else here. Fair enough. May we presume this is a native of the moon? Dare I ask what happened before we arrived? You probably shouldn't. Thank goodness you are unharmed. We did what we could to subdue the Tempered before making our way here. Not without casualties, unfortunately. Some few detonated explosives killing themselves and others. The contingent's healers have their hands full tending to the injured and enthralled when we took our leave. Least you wonder, Mistress Kryl hath also been delivered unto their care. Serving as a conduit for Heidelin's power hath taken its toll, but she will recover in due course. As for Alphino and Alize, they insisted on remaining in Garlemald while we three rushed to your aid. It appears, however, that matters here have already come to a conclusion. But by what manner of conclusion, if I might ask? And is that the ally whom Heidelin bade you seek out? He is not unlike the shades of Amarot. Not unlike, perhaps, but not the same. I was created by Heidelin, together with this place. It has ever been my duty to keep vigil over Zodiac, or rather, it was my duty. Then Zodiac is no more? And not without consequence, I'm afraid. For now, the delicate weaves of the star, preserved by his presence, will begin to unravel. If you mean to avert the final days, you shall have need of... Are you alright? My attempts to forestall Zodiac's release have all but exhausted my strength. If you might allow me to rest a short while, I will share with you all I can. Please do. You need not exert yourself on our account. These crystals contain records of your time here, yes? May we peruse them while we wait? By all means. If you would review them chronologically, I might suggest you begin with those on the upper floor. I shall leave that to you, Nathan, while I see what can be gleaned from the crystals in the lower levels. Let's have a quick word with the big guy. A moment longer, friend. Quick word has been had. Let's move on. Pray review the upper floor, and I will see if there is aught to be learned down here. Zodiac defeated. While he may have been in an incomplete state, that is nevertheless an impressive feat. But even if you hadn't, his demise was inevitable. Vandaliel would have seen to it one way or another. That said, he probably would have wielded Zodiac's power to wreak untold destruction before taking his own life, making this the better of two unfavourable outcomes. Dost thou suppose our host have maintained his solitary vigil since the very beginning, without rest or relief? If so, these records comprise the sum of his total existence. We need to handle them with care. Dimly glowing crystal. So, this music score in the background is reminding me that there's a piano behind me, or at least a stage key or a stage piano. And it kind of makes me think, is the score for this anywhere online? To be clear, I'm not great at playing it. I'm not particularly good at reading sheet music, but I can learn and generate the muscle memory to be able to play things. So, much like my use of the guitar, I am competent, if not particularly good. You gaze into the crystal. Ancient knowledge of Zodiac flows through your mind. Daily summary, no abnormalities detected. These appear to be records of a long vigil on the moon, dating back to the beginning of Zodiac's imprisonment. The next one is down. As you gaze into the crystal, knowledge of past calamities flows through your mind. The records describe how with each rejoining, Zodiac's thirst for freedom grew, as did the strain on its brands. Maintaining Zodiac's imprisonment appears to tax Heidelin greatly. As you gaze into the crystal, knowledge of past rejoinings flows through your mind. The record describes how the Watcher's efforts to prepare in the event Zodiac broke free from his prison. The records go on describing maintenance carried out with regularity with the Laporets, though it's not clear who or what they are. They're the bunny people! Not those bunny people, these are smaller, cuter bunny people. As you gaze into the crystal, a record of an unexpected visitor flows through your mind. The records note the Watcher's musing when Elidibus is spotted on the moon, though clearly not for the first time. It is clear he and his brethren have kept interest in freeing Zodiac from his prison, and yet they have made no attempt to destroy the brands. Perhaps they would prefer he remain hidden from mortal eyes until the final rejoining. Perhaps they realise we would never dare, Or perhaps they realized we would never dare bring harm to Zodiac so long as he remains imprisoned. Did you learn anything of import? Sorry, I did that deliberately. I don't know why. So it's as we suspected. Maintaining the brands requires a great deal of her energy and focus, and this cost has grown higher with every join in. That would explain why her contact with her. That would explain why contact with her has become rather infrequent since the 7th Umbral calamity. I too made a rather startling discovery. This heavy bod we know to be the moon was in fact created by Hydaelyn. When the Watcher said he was created together with this place, I thought he only meant the facility. Truly, Hydaelyn's powers are far beyond anything I could have imagined. Thank you for affording me this short reprieve. Oops, I cut him off.
It is we who should thank you. The records stored here are nothing short of extraordinary. There is much we could learn of Zodiac and his imprisonment, but perhaps you could offer us more focused guidance. Pray, tell us of the calamity that came before and comes now again.
Long ago, before the Great Sundering, there was a single world. Etheris. Etheris. I'm going to assume it's Etheris for ether. Etheris. No, Etheris. We'll go with Etheris. One day, from within the earth, a terrible cry issued forth, affecting a profound change in all manner of life. We were not exempt. Our creation magics ran amok, or ran rampant, gave shape and form to thoughts and hopelessness and despair. At first, the phenomenon was limited to a single region, but quickly, so very quickly, it spread and engulfed the whole star.
Were the ancients ever able to deduce its source?
They were not. However, the convocation struck upon a method to predict where next the corruption might manifest. Would manifest. Hopefully I remember to correctly audio balance this section. The etheric energies which flow through all of creation in the form of various currents. The currents which course through the land and the seas. Those which flow through the very air. And and those of celestial nature, which encompass both our star and this moon.
Celestial currents. I cannot say I am familiar with the concept.
Nor would I expect you to be. Few scholars of our time knew of their existence. Their invaluable knowledge helped us to better understand the nature of the calamity. Calamity? What word is that? Like the terrestrial ones of the earth and air, the celestial currents form a vast network, but the ethereal disruptions is not consistent. The convocation soon realized that the inciting incidents occurred in regions where the flow was weakest. That implies that the events of the final days was being caused by a source external to the planet, or external to the star. Because if it's the place the celestial currents is weakest, that could be a weakening of effectively similar to like the ozone layer. A weakening of the planet's integral protections from external sources. Correlation without clear cause, ultimately. Nevertheless, on closer studies, a stagnancy of ether was observed in nearby currents.
And so they sought a means to harness the forces of darkness, of activity and growth. Thus was Zodiac conceived. No less a power than a god's could set right the laws of nature and quicken the flow of ether within the star.
Precisely. With the advent of Zodiac, our end was averted.
Emmett Selk claimed that those who summoned Hydaelyn did so because they saw Zodiac's power as a threat. Is that true?
Indeed, there was a faction opposed to Zodiac's creation, but their aim was never to unmake him. They understood the continued preservation of the natural order was dependent on his very existence. Until we could identify and address the underlying cause of the final days, he would need to remain. For his departure would set in motion those apocalyptic forces once more. Hydaelyn recognized this as well, and so, rather than destroy, she sundered Zodiac herself and the star into lesser reflections, that she might confine him in this place. I could have sworn she beseeched me to banish the darkness. And what she told me in the ethereal sea was false. We'll go with the top one. State what was told to us, rather than... Because I imagine it's just a failure in interpretation rather than an actual command. Perhaps she did. But as with all beings, intent is not always in accord with the spoken word. Hydaelyn and Zodiac are both constructs of man, approximations of perfection limited by our own imperfections. Zodiac was, without question, the more powerful of the two, having been born about from the sacrifice of half of Ethereus' population. Thus was it necessary for Hydaelyn to commit herself wholly to his defeat. Still, more effort was needed to confine him. Maintaining the brand taxed her greatly. With what power she dared spare, she cried out to any who might listen, and offered her blessing to those who heeded her call. Though it was likely within her power to do so, I believe she did not wish to speak of Ethereus and her history. Ethereus. Like Zodiac, Hydaelyn's purpose is a reflection of her creators. They wish to look to the future and not linger in the prison of the past.
The Ascians set in motion 7 rejoinings before we came to oppose them. How many more worlds would have been lost had we not placed our faith in her? How many more souls living in the present would have been snuffed out for the sake of those long dead?
Well, in light of recent events, I see no reason to doubt your words. And even if Hydaelyn is not a god in truth, if Minfilia believed that we should trust in her plans, then I choose to do just that. Which brings me to a rather important question. Let's suppose we try but fail to stop this second coming of the final days. Should the source fall, what will become of the other worlds?
The nomenclature is more fitting than you know. Bring ruin to the source, and its reflections will share its fate. Ah, it is ready. Oh, is this our spaceship? This way, if you would be so kind. Do we finally get to see the monolithic spaceship that is teased in the title art? Also, what are the loppets? A beautiful sight, is it not?
Yes, but what is it?
Hydaelyn knew better than any her power was not absolute. Indeed, she has ever struggled to hold Zodiac and his faithful at bay. She feared the worst, and so made preparations. In the event of his demise, there would be a contingency. This moon is more than a prison. It is a vessel capable of bearing the people of Etheria Aetheris, to safe harbor. The moon is the goddamn spaceship. You need not go far to find its pilots. In fact, I should be happy to take you to them. And fulfill my final duty as Watcher in the dark. There's a twist I don't think anybody that I've watched saw coming. That's no moon, nor is it a space station. It's a spaceship. The moon is a ship? Well, now I've heard everything. I should very much like to hear more of this extraordinary story. It may be true, but no others. Excuse me. It may be true, but others will struggle to believe it. I can scarcely believe it myself. At long last, the Watcher is ready to fulfill his final duty. The time has come for you and yours to be on your way. The crater at the heart of Mare Lamentorum, where Zodiac was imprisoned, is not so easily traversed, however. Let us call upon Argus, the familiar whom you met earlier. He should have no trouble bearing you across. As Heidelin created me as the jailer, so too did she create Argus as the guard. It is his nature to appear when needed, yet he is nowhere to be found. Strange. Mayhap the imbalance of ether has affected him. Let us make for the Crushing Brand and attempt to call upon him there. Excuse me, I'll have to try and remember to mute that out, because I didn't get my mute key quick enough. Something tickled my nose. My apologies. You need to recall the path you walked with Argus before, and you will find your way. So we have to walk that distance. If he laboured in service of Heidelin's plan, I see no reason not to do as he suggests. Shall we make for this Crushing Brand then? Okay, well this is going to be a long trip, so I'll see you on the other side. Here they are. Naught could prepare me for the boundless beauties of Aetherius, shining, shimmering amidst the sea of stars. A blue sapphire, but one of countless other jewels brimming with life, no doubt. With little preparation, it might be possible to traverse the gap on foot. Then again, it would be a long, long way down if anyone should slip. Perhaps another time. So close, yet so far. It does not seem... does not the harsh terrain remind you of somewhere you've been before? The Dravanian Forelines? Aye. That place that rejects the intrusion of outsiders, where solitude reigns supreme. At the very least, it sounds suitable for Zodiac's prison. The place we seek is just ahead of the Chlorofagros. You see, Argus cannot manifest without sufficient concentrations of ambient ether. You would be hard-pressed to find a greater confluence than inside this cavern. Follow me. This cavern here. We didn't see this when we came because we was looking the other direction. Ah, they are apparently aggroed by sound. Curious. This place does call to mind Planenia, home of the Numo. This entire cavern is thrumming with ambient ether. Alas, any further analysis will have to wait. The guards of Zodiac's prison, blood-red eyes, enslaving Moors, and built like a behemoth, I'd imagine. Let's hope they're friendly. You could not be more wrong, Thangrid. Ah, here will do nicely. The lunar spongut draw ether from the ground. They must be referring to these things. And then disperse it in the air. At present, however, the ambient energies are not quite sufficient for August to manifest. Might you be willing to spare some of your own to help the Spogot along? A tuning. There's the good boy. August manifests in the flash. He seems to be glad to see you again. Why do I get the feeling we're going to get to take him with us? A most fascinating creation of Hydaelyn's, would you not agree? Should the need arise, he is ever able to create reflections of himself on a whim. Though I assure you it was no reflection which accompanied you earlier to the brand. No, August was quite eager to be at your side then, as he is now, it seems. I cannot recall when last he showed such affinity for anyone. Indeed, I thought him more likely to shy away from you and your companions. Perhaps it was more of a sense of duty that compelled him to aid you before. As for your companions, I have a theory. Given that I've not seen anybody riding around in that dogger's amount yet, or at least I've not noticed it, so there's not that many people. I wonder if, because there's no way he's not going to be a mount, I wonder if he's either going to be a mount for the Loprit Beast Tribe when that releases, or he's the mount for getting all classes to level 80, much like the the birds. They begin. My mind says they begin with A, but the only thing that's coming up is words related to Amarot, which I know is not right. As for your companions, unexpected, but greatly appreciated. I believe we are all ready. Let us return outside that you may cross the chasm. Yeah, that's got to be over here. Given the lack of ether currents, I stand by what I suggested last episode. That basically there is only one ether current and one quest current, and we will get them both once we're done on the moon. I was expecting something a little more intimidating and less man's best friend. To whom would us Hydaelyn entrust the command to go? To whom would us Hydaelyn entrust the command of so grand a vessel, I wonder? Dalamud has long been described as the loyal hound of Menphenia, due to its relationship to the Greater Moon. It seems highly improbable, if not impossible, for ancient people to have known of August, and now I wonder whether there is some sort or some connection. August favors you with what could almost be described as a conspiratorial grin. Your destination is the structure there across the Cradle of Darkness. But climb upon Argus's back and he will take you the rest. Once you arrive, it should not take you long to find the ship's crew. The facility is designed to rouse them from their slumber in the event of Zodiac's destruction. Heed their counsel. Together you may guide the star and its people to a kinder fate. This is where we part ways, but know that I shall ever be watching you and pray for your success. Our allies' assurance notwithstanding, we cannot be certain what awaits us on the other side, so perhaps it is best we did not all go at once. I propose 2 of us cross first, while Thancred and Uyanje wait here. She sit in side saddle. The malefic ether yet permeates the crater, remnants of Zodiac most likely. I want to look for the Aether current, but now I know I can't because the camera wants to do other things. It's going to be over there. Or up there. Just a little further. That door is several orders of magnitude too large for even the ancients. Sorry, yawning. This structure is enormous. Though that is hardly surprising given the size of the average Amarotian. Apologies for the wait. Right, then let us head inside and... oh? Most intriguing. A means by which to conserve energy, mayhaps. Well, I certainly won't want him to blink out of existence on our account, helpful as he's been. Thank you, Argus. We'll take it from here. If August is to remain outside, let us not keep him waiting over long. Not sure how many episodes I want to record today. Obviously I didn't record any yesterday. Catching up on some content, and I've still got 3 hours of content that I want to catch up on. Yeah, that door is still several orders of magnitude way too big. Truly a marvel beyond description. The scale is reminiscent of Amarot, or rather, the replica we visited on the first.
Our moonship pilot should be around here somewhere. Is that right?
There they are. They are tiny! I was expecting them to be small, but they look like they're going to be smaller than a Lalafell.
Look lively, everyone! I know, this 1243rd inspection is a mite ahead of schedule, but it is of the utmost importance, for Zodiac, alas, is no more.
The casual just nonchalantness of... So, yeah, this is an inspection. Yeah, because Zodiac's dead.
As of now, our mighty moon has a new purpose. To bear the people of Aetheris to safety!
I did get it right the first time. I just then forgot how I pronounced it.
Our time has come, my friends! We must be swifter than swift. There is much to do before our guests arrive. I expect your workstations to be immaculate. And don't forget to relay our signal to Aetheris. Questions? Yes? No? Maybe so? No? Then hop to it!
Are they really going to be able to get everyone from the planet on the moon? Or more accurately, in the ship?
'Tis a rather curious crew she hath chosen. Their endearing forms intended to ease the passengers' hearts, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Thancred isn't convinced. Well, we'll talk to the Loprits next time. What's the time? I can go straight into the next episode. So yeah, we'll call it for this one, because I don't know how long this next mission is going to take, and that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheerio.